Today I'm going to debunk 10 health hacks and other forms of treatment. And number 10 is the absolute worst, and it's not even a health hack, it's actually a treatment that basically generates $280 million a year. It doesn't really even work, and it's super dangerous. Let's dive in. Number 1, ear candling.
There are people out there who believe that when you light one end of this candle, it actually heats up your earwax and it creates a suction effect to pull that wax out of your ear canal and pull it into the candle.
I even tried ear candles long ago when I was in practice. And I got my wife to do it, I got my parents to do it, I got some patients to do it. Because if you look at the pictures, it looks like it really works. You're sucking this wax out of your ear because combining the heat of the candle, and as it burns down, it creates a vacuum and sucks all this wax out, and you can actually see it. But are you really looking at the wax out of your ear? I watched a great video by a doctor of audiology who performed an experiment to look inside the ear before and after using these ear candles. And he found there's absolutely no difference before and after the treatment of removing wax from your ear. So apparently that wax is the wax from the candle. You might want to save your money on that one. Number 2, this one is a gallbladder flush. I did this one too, and it almost killed me. What you're doing is you're going to drink 12 ounces of olive oil. Then you're going to chase it down with these beet tablets. I made the big mistake of washing down the beet tablets with the olive oil, and the beet tablets solidified in my esophagus. I almost stopped breathing. I literally got really scared. I do not recommend this. You'll see these videos that they'll show in the toilet, these huge gallstones. Here's the thing, they're all floating. Gallstones don't float, they sink. What these people are looking at are little pools of bile that you just purged. And now you're going to be deficient in bile, especially if you're trying to digest fats. I highly recommend you don't try to purge your gallbladder. A much better way of dissolving or preventing gallstones or preventing that sludge, which is the formation of a gallstone, is to actually take more bile. And a good bile to take to help dissolve it is something called TUDCA. Take TUDCA on an empty stomach, take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. That opens up and gets things to drain. But if you want to add more to help dissolve a gallstone, you want to start taking bile salts after the meal to help prevent the formation of stones and then keep the sludge from turning into a gallstone. I do not recommend purging or flushing gallstones by drinking a tremendous amount of olive oil. Number 3, the master cleanse, where you're combining lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup. And yes, I did this long ago, having this idea that I'm going to cleanse and purge all these toxins in my liver. That's not the best way to cleanse. It's a great way to create a lot of blood sugar issues, because if you're doing this cleanse for 3 days like I did it, I ate nothing, I drank nothing but a gallon of this mixture every single day, the sugar in the maple syrup kept me from converting into ketosis and kept me in the sugar burning mode where my blood sugars were up and down, up and down. I was like craving sugar throughout the day for 3 days. A much better way to do a cleanse would be to just eat healthy foods, especially maybe cruciferous foods, to provide the enzymes for the liver to slowly detoxify chemicals throughout the body. Number 4, those foot detox pads. This is a waste of money. It's like $20. You buy these pads. I bought them. You put them on your feet in the hopes of pulling out poisons and heavy metals, because if you wear them for a period of time and you take them off, they'll be black, right? So that's toxins, right? No, it's some type of chemical reaction. You can just pour water on them and then watch them turn black. They're not pulling toxins out of your body. There's no detox pathways in your skin. You sweat through your skin, but sweating is not necessarily a detoxification. It's going to release excess sodium and also water, so you can actually cool the body down, because it's kind of creating like a refrigeration action externally on your skin to get rid of excess heat. When these pads have certain herbs or certain things on them, it is not creating a magnet for metals. And that leads us to number 5, the foot detox bath. You go to a clinic, you put your feet in these things, and it has a certain electrode in there that then generates some current in the water, and then all of a sudden the water solution becomes like this brown toxic material. It's pulling all these heavy metals out, all this toxic waste from your kidneys and your liver, so you could become very clean, right? Wrong. That's not what's happening. It's not pulling any toxins out. You can actually create the same color in this bath without putting your feet in it. What's happening when you're adding the salt in there, it's interacting with the electrodes to create rust. It's a chemical reaction that has nothing to do with toxins coming out of your body. My wife and I were in the Dominican Republic, and we did a vacation, and they had this little place where you can put your feet into these tiny little minnows that will eat the dead skin cells off of your feet, so your feet are really smooth after. My wife and I did this, and it tickled when they were eating or nibbling on our feet, but I will say it did not make our feet really nice and smooth. I guess you'd have to probably put some piranhas in there to do that, because these little minnows just didn't create an impact on our feet. Number 6, the ab belts. There's 2 different versions. You have the belt that causes more sweating in your midsection, and then you have the belt that creates this electric stimulation, like it has like a TENS unit, where it's creating this contraction on your stomach muscles. Because of course, wouldn't it be great to not have to exercise and you can just wear this belt all day, and then at the end of the day you pop it off and you have these 6-pack abs? Sorry, this one also is not going to work. Creating stimulation on your stomach muscles or even sweating is not going to remove any fat from your midsection. And creating the stimulation without you doing the work is not going to help you with your midsection. I'm sorry to tell you that. Most of that internal fat, called visceral fat, has to be removed through diet. And there are also various toning things that you can do to tighten some of the fascia around your midsection. You're gonna have to actually do something. Number 7, the blood type diets. Is there anything to it? I bought the book. Initially, it sounded like there is some special technology that potentially could work. When you pull a string at the back of the book and search where this research goes, it doesn't go anywhere. I can't find any credible research on this at all. And that's because, yes, we have different blood types, but these different blood types relate to more of an immune difference than a digestive food difference.
If you are type O, the theory is your body thrives on animal proteins and low carbs. Type A states you should enjoy a vegetarian diet with limited red meat and dairy.
The reason why it does work for certain people is because all of the recommendations for foods are whole foods. You're eliminating all the junk foods, regardless of what type of specific diet that you're doing based on the blood type. If you just go from refined foods to whole foods, you're going to feel better, you're going to do better. Number 8, EMF blockers, the stuff that comes out of this cell phone right here. And so when you have an EMF blocker, you're putting this little sticker on the back of your phone, and that's supposed to block all the EMF waves. I just want to tell you right now, you can save your money. Don't buy into that. Because I talked to someone that really knows about this, a physicist, and he was just laughing about it, because a little sticker on your cell phone is not going to block all the EMF radiation or nullify it or kind of suck it into the area. That's not how it works. Now, you could put a layer of metal or tin foil along there and block it, but then you're not going to get transmission. Number 9, carb blockers. Have you ever seen those? 3-in-1 carb blocker. That way you can continue to eat your pasta and your bread and lose weight. If you look at the ingredient, it has a certain extract from white beans that does inhibit, to a certain degree, starches. Not sugar, only to a very tiny degree. Maybe if you're lucky, it would take a very small percentage, maybe 2% of the starch in the donut, and it may slow down the enzymes to break it down, thinking that, oh, it's just going to now pass right through me, right? No. What's going to happen to that 2% of that starch? It's going to go down into the small intestine. If your enzymes don't break it down, your microbes will, then you're going to get bloating. Then you might say, well, why don't I just take more of that enzyme? Yeah, you could do that. Maybe you could consume 9 bottles of the carb blocker to digest the starch in the donut, not the sugar, not the seed oils, but the starch. Maybe that might work. You might want to do an experiment. It'd be a very expensive experiment. And how much pleasure are you going to get from eating that one donut if you're blocking just the starch of that donut? Probably not going to be worth it. Now we get to the big one, psychiatric medication. It treats the symptom of a theory. Depression is a chemical imbalance of a deficiency of serotonin. But that's been recently debunked. This whole time, psychiatrists were prescribing all these medications for this theory that wasn't even true. The very limited effectiveness of psychiatric drugs actually compares with placebo outcomes. Many of the studies that indicate any effectiveness from psych drugs is owed to the placebo effect. Then people might say, well, okay, so what if it's placebo? If it makes people think it's working and it works for them, great, right? If it didn't account for the serious side effects emotionally, where you even become more depressed or have all sorts of problems with even feeling emotion in general. That's one of the big side effects, is you just feel like a zombie. I mean, are we supposed to get on this medication and be on it forever, or take it for a period of time until it corrects something? No, you keep taking it. It's highly addictive within 2 weeks, and now you're dependent on that. And the whole time, the psychiatrist does not evaluate your foods, just giving you a pill for a symptom. And it's hilarious, because all the things that the psychiatrist is against is any alternative to medicine. But the worst psychiatric treatment, even worse, I think, than drugs, is the ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, if you want to call it a therapy. Some doctors even claim that it's safe and effective. They don't even know why. It might give some temporary improvement in depression. And they also downplay the long-term effects, and also how many of these problems and side effects come back. And unfortunately, ECT is even administered to certain people that did not give their consent. Sometimes they even give it to people in hospice. Like, why would you want to give someone in hospice ECT? From my viewpoint, that's probably the most dubious treatment that you could possibly do, especially if we're comparing that treatment to something like ear candles. Yet in the news or even online, you don't really see a lot of the dangers being promoted with ECT because there's too much money involved. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.